Hey there, Goa fans. This is Mark, DJ Solitaire here with episode 109 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I share in every episode one of my favorite tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. So today's track is really quite a number. And it pulled quite a number on me, really. It was one of the most twisted, out there, really otherworldly, boundary defying, consciousness shredding at times productions that I heard at that time and pretty much ever. And it's a little bit of a mathematical equation today because in episode 107 we featured Extreme, in 108 there was Psychopod, and today in 109 is a combination because this is Extreme's remix of the Kox Box track Life Is. And it became titled Life is a Gas, which has all kinds of possible connotations. The original meaning of which life is something's a gas, it means it's a lot of fun, it's a blast, and so on, which is a good optimistic attitude to look at things with. Not that this track is necessarily optimistic per se, it is really out there. I remember when I got this one, it was November 1997. So this is the trip where Richard Purple and I went to from London to Tokyo for 3 days. I stayed on for an extra 2 weeks and bought a really expensive one-way return. And I remember one day I went into the Cisco CD and LP shop in in Shibuya, which was really the the techno trance outfit. Cisco had a bunch of different ones, different shops for different musical styles, and this is where everybody went. And looking around at new CDs, I was there with a friend who I used to work with when on my previous stint in Japan. I worked as an English teacher, and we were just looking around. I'd invited him to a party or two before. He loved it, and saw this gorgeous cover, and just saw that, and my buddy said, "Oh, let me buy that for you. That'll be fun." So it certainly is. Now, so the CD single has the original track, then it has the Extreme remix as well, and it also has the incredible track by Kox Box, "Stay Psychedelic," which I'm not sure if it was issued on vinyl, because I think maybe it was on the other side of the remix, but I'm not sure. In any case, didn't bother to check it out before filming, but I remember that is also a great favorite of mine. This one, however, very different atmosphere. Incredibly dark, incredibly twisted. It's got all of the brilliance of Psychopod's, Psychopod and Kox Box. This is on Blue Room, so it's released as Kox Box, with their incredible boundary-defying, harmonic, quirky weirdness, with Extreme's unbelievable engineering, the drive, that chugga chugga quality, and creative storytelling as well. I mean, both outfits just unbelievable with their storytelling. And this is really something else. There's a number of interesting aspects to it. One of which is the sort of the pitch bending, and the fact that it doesn't quite seem quite centered on the key, on the tonality. So it just really has there's this real melting quality, which, on the dance floor, dropped at the right time in the story. It's really like all of these familiar structures just kind of start melting. So I think it's probably time to give it a listen. There's This track it really had such a profound influence on my experience of it and my experience of life afterwards. And talk about life as a gas. Um, and there was something today, actually, just prior to filming, that ties in with this. But I'm going to tell the story afterwards. So I think it'll make a little more sense once we hear the music. So let's give this a listen. the extreme remix of the track Life Is by Kox Box. Life is a gas. So it starts off with these weird otherworldly sounds, which also sound like voices. Now this Morse code-like rhythm starts coming in. We hear a little bit on, sounds like on two different frequencies there. So, if we think about what Extreme was producing at the time, right, with Telegram coming up a little bit later, probably produced around this time. Notice that non-stop rhythm. And the kick comes in a surprising way. Just notice how the rhythm is going to change when that happens. So the beat emphasis of that pattern changes when the kick comes in, which is very cool. Notice that those upper sounds for the percussion, so crisp, the layering. I mean, this extreme engineering is just unbelievable, still incredible. Slide. Notice that. All the textures and sounds and the way everything communicates. And then there's a diminished fifth in there. And the slide is very sensual but also eerie. With all of those other sounds coming in. Completely twisted alien voice there, and then so kind of like this dialogue going on, or even a group chat with that insistent voice that's now come to the foreground. Just throw this in the middle of everything, and then you don't know what hit you if you hear this for the first time. Very atonal here. Really, so this is off of the standard kind of harmonization that we'll normally hear in Western music. And then sometime soon, can never tell how long everything's gonna last here. Okay, so there's two bits going here, and then there's that lower one. Right, so one's more staccato, one's got this real twang. Then we're getting again that more of that otherworldly sort of, where Kox Box and Psychoprod were at this time in their creative journey. And then this climbing, right? So it's uplifting, right, in terms of the direction and the shaping and the rhythm of it, but while it's just unbelievably twisted at the same time. Really fascinating combo. And now here, more incredible pitch bending with this sort of chopped up bit, which in classical music, there's a lot of orchestral works where violins will do this kind of back and forth stuff that's just like this. And really this melting. and this almost inquisitive, existential kind of questioning going on here. And then really, this is just like this incredible transmission and weird engaged conversation with this group of beings who speak a musical or semi-musical language. Different instrumentation there. Doubled up. Great, pulling out the percussion. That rhythm, and notice the bass line here. Drops down. Those bleepy noises. And this really sounds absolutely like this is coming from another planet. Then you're back here in this particular zone. Extra voice thrown in there with extra atonal quality. Here we've again, that's the pitch sliding. How many voices? This lifting quality to this, and then that cool sound that comes forward as it starts to wrap up. Notice that tone, and then it goes down to the tonic, to the main note of the key. I mean, there was really nothing I'd heard like that. Friogram, which we had last week, I mean, that was pretty messed up. But this is just next level, right? They take that atonal alien voice stuff to a whole other level, and then Extreme does, has their way with it. With the incredible percussive elements, all the creative sounds, the different textures of the different voices, both the harmonic and non-harmonic, and all of that pitch bending and everything. It was just wild. And also those voices. I mean, tons of voices in the melodic shaping, as well as in the sort of, again, the non-melodic, the sort of just really weirdly textured stuff. So, I got that CD single then, thanks to Ken. Thanks, Ken. In November 97. Obviously started playing it right away. And I remember then in Vancouver when it was passing through before Tokyo. And as I mentioned, Solstice had their Sayonara party in Vancouver, and Chica was playing. That was the set when he played off my DAT of, the Delta track. And I remember him playing this one. And it was a Friday the 13th full moon kind of situation in a basement. And it was just a complete psychedelic mashup. And it was a perfect track for it. So yeah, it's just really a whole other story, this one. So before I was filming, I was going to the standard computer that I normally use to film, and the microphone was glitching. So I tried another cable for it, and I recorded. Sometimes it would record okay, and then sometimes it would sound like the voices in that track. And so then I just tried, okay, let's just plug in the uh, other microphone that I have, which I normally use for my laptop. Same brand, same kind of thing. And started working, and then started devolving into these weird voices. So here I am. I decided, well, I knew I was going to upgrade and start recording on this computer as well soon. And so I guess now it's, this track is forced to my hand. But it was just that way that, the music and these experiences would bleed into your reality. Like it was around this time that I was really starting to experience that. Like there was messages in the music, and then I would have these reverberations through my life. And, coming out of the events as well. And, just got to experience that again today. It was really touching in with sort of, how this track impacted me back then. And the fact that it really was like sort of ripping apart this veil that separates us from another aspect of reality. And it just really seemed to hit on that level. And then my microphones decided to say hello. And it obviously wasn't the microphone. I guess it's my old hard drive, or my old mainframe that needed revisiting. So there we go. It was just another kind of fun experience with this track to sort of add to my, I don't know how many years we're at now, 27, 28 years with this track. Real beauty. I will sign off here and let you hear the complete glorious masterpiece on its own without any of my commentary. I'm Mark, DJ Solitaire, wrapping up episode 109 and leaving you now with a wonderful extreme remix of the Kox Box track Life Is a Gas.